Do you want to learn how to build healthy relationships? That's good, because I'm going to show you how to set some boundaries today and why it's important. We all have relationships in some shape or form, whether that's business, romantic, or just friendships in general. They're all important in many different ways, but no relationship will ever thrive if we don't set boundaries. We have to set some type of boundaries so people know what line not to cross. That's the biggest thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go ahead and jump into that. The first thing we have to do is understand what boundaries are. If you don't know what boundaries are, how do you expect to set them? Boundaries are limits and guidelines that we set for ourselves to let people know what our non-negotiables are, the things we're not willing to tolerate and the things we're not willing to compromise. You have to have some of those, right? Everybody does. If you don't have any, then how does anybody know who interacts with you what not to do? The reason why this is important, because when you establish your boundaries, this establishes respect, trust, and honesty at the beginning of the relationship before anything ever gets started, no matter what relationship it is. If you don't have respect, trust, and honesty, there's no mutual anything anywhere. People are never going to communicate successfully or even get together and be able to understand each other in a proper way. You have to have those three things. You have to understand, without boundaries, you're more likely to run into way more problems, arguments, and all different types of things, especially if you're not clear about them. Not only do we have to understand boundaries, we have to know how to set them. The way you set boundaries is simply by sitting down and making a list of your values. Make a list of something that people have to follow. Like, it doesn't necessarily you giving a document to somebody like, hey, these are my values. No, we're not doing that. People have to know what it is that you're okay with and you're not okay with, what they can say and what they can't say. If they don't know that, then there's no way that they can maneuver around you in the way that you see fit. The biggest thing you have to do is be specific about what you are and what you are not willing to tolerate. It's also important to enforce your boundaries. You have to let people know that that's not okay. And you can't do it 10 years later. You can't do it 5 minutes later. You need to do it right now. Once you see it get done, you need to say, hey, that's not it. You have to let them know immediately, because if you don't, then guess what's going to happen? The same thing. And oftentimes when the same thing happens, what do you think is going to happen? That's where disrespect comes into play. That's when everybody starts to get all riled up. Their pride starts to take over. It never has to get to conflicts and misunderstandings. If you recognize when your boundaries are being crossed and you address it immediately, then you never have to worry about it getting that far. Sometimes it may be a difficult conversation, but it's a necessary conversation. Other than that, if you do not have the necessary conversation, what's it going to turn into? Again, it's fights, arguments, or it's going to be an ending of any relationship, friendship, or business relationship. Those are the things that you're going to miss out on if you can't communicate your values properly. We all have to understand that building relationships, a healthy relationship, takes time, effort, and commitment. We have to be patient with one another. We can't expect people to get it right away. We're all human. We make mistakes, but we have to continuously communicate openly and honestly every single time that we speak to the person that we're in any type of relationship with, so that they understand what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you want to accomplish and the direction that you want to take the relationship and how you want to maneuver in this relationship. Not only should you expect other people to respect your boundaries and your values, you need to do the same to others. You can't expect somebody to respect you and you don't respect them. It's vice versa. It's just like the old saying goes, you treat people the way you want to be treated. If you can't do that, then there's no reason to sit there and get mad at somebody else for not doing the same. When it comes to building a healthy relationship, boundaries and setting them are very important. We have to understand why setting boundaries is important, how to set them, and why it's such a big deal. You have to understand, by setting boundaries and enforcing the boundaries, you can establish healthy relationships that can last a lifetime. But if you don't set those boundaries and you don't let people know what line not to cross, your relationships will never go very far. It doesn't matter, because you don't have the foundation. The foundation is trust, respect, and honesty. We have to have those three things. If you don't have trust, respect, and honesty in a relationship, it's hard to be successful in anything. It's hard to work with somebody. It's hard to be in a romantic relationship. It's hard to be a friend with somebody if there's no trust. If you have no respect for one another, or if you're not even going to be honest. That's the bare minimum. To close this video, what we all need to do is make a list of our values. What are the things that's important to us? What are our non-negotiables? At the same time, we need to start setting boundaries. And while setting those boundaries, we need to communicate those boundaries to the people that we're going to be in any relationship with, no matter what it is. Once you're able to communicate that properly, then you can expect all your relationships, no matter what relationship it is, to thrive. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please share this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.